I was just thinking about it. I was like, I should have brought a jumper with me, and then I would have been
Hi,
fine.
everyone. We're live on Rolling Conversations. I took the opportunity while Rheed was out getting a jumper to press the go button. But I figured as he's one of the fastest men in the world, he'd be back in time. There you go. But welcome, everybody, to Rolling Conversations this afternoon. And it's our Paralympic Hopefuls edition. So we're really thrilled to welcome two Paralympians in Hannah Dodd and Rheed McCracken. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having me.
And Rheed, you did just prove yourself one of the fastest men in the world to get back in time with your jumper. So you're feeling nice and warm?
Yeah, I feel better now. Yeah, I was a bit nervous. The dog is kind of asleep across the bedroom floor, and I was really worried that I was going to wake her and she was going to come out and be a real pain. But got it done quick. Yeah,
you got it done. I tell you, over the life of Rolling Conversations, we've had some pretty wacky stuff go on. So if the dog gets involved, we're okay with that.
Yeah, she's been for a walk though, so she's asleep now. So hopefully she stays asleep for the whole time because she's pretty painful when she's awake.
Okay, well, we'll talk quietly. It's a great thrill to have you both on, and we say a great welcome to everyone that is tuning in from wherever you are. Please send us your messages on Facebook and your questions, and we'll get to them as many as we can. We also have a very special guest questioner, a surprise guest questioner coming in later on the program for everyone. So stay tuned for our special guest later on. So we might kick off just by way of introduction for those that don't know you guys and what you've achieved in your sport. We'd love to hear a bit about how you got into your sport originally and where you've come from. So Hannah, can I start with you? What's your background in the Paralympic sports? Because you're a multi-sports person.
So I started in horse riding. I grew up horse riding. Both my older brothers and my mum were horse riders, so it was kind of just natural for me to follow on. I got into para-equestrian at the minimum age of 12 and went through, missed out on Beijing and 2010 Worlds, and then made it to London 2012 Paralympics. And then after the Paralympics, I got recruited across to wheelchair basketball. While I was there by Jerry Hewson and by my parents. So I came back and started basketball for a bit of fun, and obviously I'm quite a competitive person, so that didn't last for very long. So I was a dual sport athlete from 2013 through to 2017. And then from there I've just been a pure wheelchair basketball athlete.
Great. Love to talk to you more about that through the conversation about what you've achieved in both sports, but particularly now you focus on wheelchair basketball. You were born in New South Wales. I need to make the point or ask the question, Rheed, is it actually true you're a Queenslander by birth?
Yeah, I am. I'm from Bundaberg originally, and I still call Bundaberg home for the moment. I still have a driver's license that says Bundaberg, so I'll claim that. Yeah.
Okay, and there's an interesting story about you getting involved in wheelchair track and road, and from memory, it involves David Koch from Channel 7.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I was wanting to get into sport, but had sort of didn't really know how to get into Paralympic sport as a whole. And when I was flying back from Brisbane, I sat next to David Koch on a flight to Bundaberg. They were going to Bundaberg for What Your Town's Famous For, like years and years ago when they ran that segment. And I kind of just got chatting to him about that I wanted to do something. At the time, he was doing a challenge with Kurt Fernley while Kurt was crawling Kokoda, and he flew me to Sydney to meet Kurt. And that was kind of the start of it. Yeah, I raced the Balmoral Burn, which is like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's 420 meters straight up a hill in Sydney. And it's the worst race to do as your first race in wheelchair. But I fell in love with it from there. And, I was able to meet Andrew Dawes, who's my coach still to this day. And he fitted me up for my race chair. And that was kind of how I got involved in it. And I was, to this day, I'm still really fortunate for that. And I was able to train with Kurt for years before his retirement. And just really lucky, chance meeting and kind of got me to where I am today. And I competed in London and Rio, and I was pre-selected for Tokyo last year. So yeah, just fortunate.
It's a great story. I also love, Rheed, I've heard you talk about being welcomed into the wheelchair sports community, and I might touch on that idea of being welcomed, starting, Hannah, with you. So many of the athletes that we talk to on Rolling Conversations have spoken about that first entry point, the need for there to be an advocate or a champion for them and an introduction. I imagine there's some people have played a pretty significant role in your introduction to wheelchair sport as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, I got recruited through Jerry to come along and try the sessions at Hunters Hill when we used to train out of there. And from there, I went to the Women's Festival out at Narrabeen in January, February, early 2013. And yeah, from there, obviously, I met some of the greats of my sport in Sarah Stewart and Kylie Gauchi and Katie Hill. And, you know, we had sort of half the Paralympic team in New South Wales at that stage. So I got really lucky. I landed on my feet pretty much from the start, and I got some really good basics into me straight away through those guys, and also through Alan, who's a really lovely and really dedicated coach and kind of will travel wherever you want to travel to train. So, yeah, I got really, really lucky in having those. And then obviously because they were still training for like the Australian squad, I then had them to support me when I went into the Australian squad and started training that as well. So, yeah, I really fell on my feet. And, yeah, it was like no matter where you go with wheelchair sports, you always make friends because it is just that really big sense of the community, you know, for the first, I think 3 to 5 years that I was playing in someone else's chair. So it was always that kind of thing where it's like, yeah, try this chair. Hey, try this chair. Hey, try this chair. You know, my current chair is in Perth with one of the other gliders because we're like, yeah, it should fit you. It should be a good fit. Go try it and see how it is. And we're like, cool, yeah. So yeah, I think just that part where everyone's really sharing. And it's like, yeah, try this. It works for me. Try this. It works for me. And yeah, it's just that really strong sense of community. It's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It's a beautiful community to be a part of. And we recently shot a documentary film, a brief documentary on the GIO Ausday 10K race. And in it, Rheed, you articulate that idea of being welcomed into a community. And you spoke quite beautifully about it, about that idea of very much getting an immediate sense of belonging.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. As I said, like when I was looking for something, a sport to get into, you know, you kind of are a bit lost in a sense. And when I was introduced to the sport, not only did I fall in love with the sport, but the people around that, the people who, you know, are my family now as well. I've traveled the world with them and done a lot of things with them. And those people are the ones who, you know, they helped me out. They showed me how to become a better wheelchair racer, be a better person in a sense. Like, you know, when I moved to Newcastle, as I said, I'm from Queensland, and I moved to Newcastle when I was really young, and Kurt welcomed me into his family. I had no one here. My family were all still back in Queensland, and he welcomed me into his family, and he helped me just, you know, I moved away from home when I was 17. So, you know, I still had a lot of growing to do, but also just when we travel, like, becoming a better wheelchair racer by learning from the people around you is the best thing about it. And I saw Madison post or something. And you know, if there's and like yeah, as I said, those people are the people who help me become better at what I do.
So I'm not going to mention the state of origin at all, Rheed, just out of consideration for you.
It's pretty disappointing, really, to be honest. But we won 8 in a row. Like, we can afford to lose a couple.
Yeah, so you're still talking about that, are you? Or
yeah, well, that's what we have to cling on to, really, to be honest with you.
Yes, true. Now, Hannah, different to Rheed, who's very much a specialist in his sport, you just have a plethora of opportunities. You mentioned equestrian. I think you've also played some wheelchair rugby through the time, and then you play with the, if I'm not mistaken, with the Sydney Uni Flames in the WNWBL, and then with the wonderful Wollongong Roller Hawks, the 3-time national champions in the NWBL as well. It just seems like you'll have to go at anything.
Yeah, pretty much. I think for me, like, I didn't know that wheelchair sports or like really para sports existed as a kid. So I was never really exposed to it. Sydney Paralympics was kind of my first opportunity. And even then I was really, really interested in horse So yeah, once I kind of got into it, I was like, oh, there's a whole bunch of other stuff I can have a go at. And obviously with the progressive disability, it was something that was interesting for me as well to see that if I do get to a certain point where I can't play basketball, there are still other options available to me. I love playing with the Gladiators. They were a great bunch of boys. They're always always up for a good laugh, and they're always good fun. And again, like, it was great cross training for me to get in a rugby chair that's 10, 15 kilos heavier than what my basketball chair is. I still play up here on the coast every now and again. We have a Saturday comp at the uni with Chris Bond and Ryan. So I do get in every now and again for a bit of fun. Not recently, obviously. I think my coaches would murder me. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to kind of give a crack at anything. I've had to go at kayaking. I've had to go at tennis. Had to go at a couple of things just for fun and just to enjoy myself a bit. But yeah, it is just fun to kind of throw yourself in the deep end and have a go.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, and you guys are real figures in your sports, and we have our Junior Wheelies camps, of course, and we know that people look up to you and aspire to emulate what you've done as Paralympians and as elite sports people. I'm interested, though, in your sporting heroes. Who did you idolise growing up and in what sports? Rheed, might start with you. Who are your sporting heroes? And if they're Queensland Rugby League players, maybe just leave them.
There's nothing wrong with Queensland Rugby League players. We're going through a patch at the moment, I'll admit, but we'll get better. Don't you worry about that. Speak
freely then if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in New South Wales long enough to kind of be like, I don't mind watching us get flogged. I'm just saying that
sure
we'll get better. Don't worry. As I kind of mentioned before, like people like Kurt and that kind of were big influences on me. He was kind of the first. Him and like Louise Savage as well were kind of the first people that I remember. Oh, Louise just said that's so funny.
Presume that's the dog?
Yeah, that's my dog, Zyla, yeah. She's asleep right now, though.
Oh, well, we shout out to Louise Savage, our patron, watching on. So Rheed, you said so there's a bunch of people from within wheelchair sport that were your heroes growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I remember watching when I watched Beijing when I was younger in 2008, watching Kurt race there. Was a massive moment for me. That was like a moment where I was like, oh, I can actually do something as well. And then I remember the first time that I actually met Louise, I was really nervous as well. So just people like that, being around those people. And as I said, like they make you a better athlete as well, just by spending time with them. Yeah, and Louise looks after my dog sometimes. So it's very nice.
There you go. Dog minding. I didn't know that was part of her skill set. Hey, Hannah, how about you? Who were your sporting heroes growing up?
Probably my main one when I was horse riding was Julie Higgins, who was a double gold medalist for Australia at Sydney. And I was really lucky to meet her about 4 months before the games at her property out at Windsor. And that was kind of, one of my really first introductions to para-equestrian. And I kind of idolized her for a very long time after that. When I got into basketball, obviously Sarah and Gouch were definitely, people I looked up to and wanted to be like. But also Kurt was definitely one of mine as well, because he was kind of one of the first people I had met outside of a hospital setting that had my disability. And, as a young kid, that was definitely something that I was like, oh, cool, I can still go do all of these mad and crazy things all over the world and I'll be perfectly fine. That was definitely... It was really exciting when I actually got to meet him in London. And I was like, I've idolized you since I was like 8 years old. Sorry if that's weird, but so that was they were kind of my ones growing up.
Yeah, great. So we called this one, this episode of Rolling Conversations, Paralympic Hopefuls. I mean, you guys are already Paralympians, and Rheed, we know that you've been included in the Tokyo team, and congratulations on that already. And Hannah, we're waiting to hear the announcement around the gliders. So fingers crossed for you there. I'm just interested in what your ambition is for the Paralympics. I mean, obviously medals and all the rest of it, but what would you ultimately like to achieve at Paralympic medal? Rheed, starting with you, what's the big goal for Tokyo?
Look, honestly, like just being included in that team is enough for me, really. Whatever happens after that, like I'll put myself in the best position to try and make a final and potentially win a medal. But, it's been such a difficult year and for everyone. And I think just being that it's a little bit longer, like with the postponement of the games and coming back, I think just being over there and being able to race at another Paralympics, and this will be my third games. I think that for me is just enough. But then from then on, if I can make a final and hopefully put myself in the best position, that's what we're training for, and that's what we've trained for however long now. So that would be my ambition. Yeah, I know it's pretty cliche and a bit boring, but that's all I'm kind of at.
Yeah, great. No, thank you for sharing. And before, Hannah, I get to you, we've got a message there. Hi, everyone, from Amira Lee. Now, Amira is one of our members and was recently won the Australian Open. She's the first person in the open category from a chair to ever win the Australian Open in archery. So an amazing result. And Amira, I believe, is in the Czech Republic at the moment, trying to qualify for Tokyo. So we say g'day to Amira all the way from the Czech Republic, and we're really pleased that she's tuning in. So fingers crossed for you over there, Amira. And also congratulations on that wonderful win, the Australian Open. What a pioneer. So Hannah, for you, in terms of the Paralympics, what's the goal?
Look, I think for us, the main thing was obviously after not qualifying for Rio was to qualify. So when we qualified late 2019, it was a very tearful moment when we realised sort of about 3 minutes left of the semi-final that we were going to win, and we were going to win comfortably and secure that place. We pretty much all started crying on the bench. That was definitely sort of one of the first goals, obviously. Right now, we're just looking at our pool and trying to get ourselves in the best position to be in a good crossover match. And then anything after that is kind of a bonus. We're taking a very young squad and a very unexperienced squad just due to retirements and things like that. So from our London team, we only have currently in our squad 2 of the girls that went to London. So it's going to be a very fresh team. Pretty much we're just going to get there, try and do our best, hopefully make the crossovers and make a good crossover. And then, hope for the best after that.
So to steal a line, Hannah, from Rheed's profile on the Paralympic website, you'll have a red hot crack. Is that what you're planning on?
That's the plan, yep.
When did I ever say that?
Well, I'm only going off the Paralympic website. So not only that, but you've said one of your most inspirational lines for sport is from Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights.
Wow, I love that movie. That's such a good movie.
The
problem with that line, though, is I haven't won. So that's the line. That's the problem with that line. But I love that movie. That movie's a great movie. But that is the problem with that quote. But
how it went out on the Oscar, I'll never know. But there you go.
Yeah.
That and Step Brothers. Yeah,
Step Brothers I was a bit more of a Talladega Nights fan, but my family will love that too. My family love that movie. So if they are watching, they'll love that I've said that, because they love that movie more than I do.
So what's the actual quote from Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, it is that. It is, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah.
But as I said, that's a problem for me because I haven't won. So
words of wisdom from Ricky Bobby. Hey, there's another message for you there, Rheed, from the Rooster. Asking you to slow down a little bit, which I'm not sure you're going to do, but there you go. Thanks, Rooster. Presumably watching on from. So we love the Rooster, and in fact, speaking of the Rooster, who's come through our juniors, Junior Wheelies, I'm going to introduce now our very special surprise guest question asker. So let me hit the magic button and bring into Rolling Conversations Lucky Rheed. G'day, Lucky.
Good morning, Nick.
How are you, mate?
Good.
That's good. Now, welcome to Rolling Conversations. We're thrilled that you're here. You're a very special and important member of our Junior Wheelies community. So you come to all of our camps, for anyone that hasn't met you before. And you're joining Rolling Conversations to be our surprise guest questioner today, aren't you? Is that right? All right, great. Well, I'm going to get out of your way. Have you got a question for Rheed or Hannah?
Rheed, how long was it you training for? Like, how long were you training for with, Kurt?
Sorry, how long was I training for
With Kurt.
with Kurt? I trained with Kurt since 2014. I only moved to when I finally moved to Newcastle. Probably since 2014 was when I started training with Kurt, and then up until 2018, 19. Yeah.
And so, Lockie, you were living in Newcastle for a bit, and in fact, you met Rheed at one of our Junior Wheelies camps. And most recently, you've also met Kurt, haven't you? You've been doing some stuff on the ABC with him.
Yes, I only stayed up in Newcastle for 2 years.
There you go.
That's enough to know it's a great place, though.
Yeah. No, and now you're in Kellyville in Sydney. That's right, isn't it? And for those who don't know, Lockie, you're not only are you into wheelchair track and road like Rheed, but you're also doing some wheelchair basketball like Hannah. Have you got any questions for Hannah?
How long when you were a kid to train to bounce it on the side of your chair?
So I didn't start playing wheelchair basketball until I was 20. To be honest, it probably took me about 6 to 8 months before I was comfortable dribbling even a little bit, and probably not comfortable dribbling in a game until, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years after I started playing. If anyone gave me the ball in the game, I was like, nope, take it back. I don't want it. But then we had a couple of injuries in the Flames, and it kind of changed our lineup a little bit. And Alan was like, you've got to learn how to ball dribble. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, probably about 2 or 3 years before I was really comfortable doing it. And it's definitely still not my favorite thing to do.
Hey, and now for those who obviously you wouldn't have seen all of us getting together for a conversation before we went live, and one of the big topics of conversation was Pokemon. So I just wondered, Lockie, to put Rheed and Hannah on the spot. And have you got any more of those wonderful Pokemon questions?
What's Charizard's last evolution? I mean, what's Turtles, not turtle. I forgot his name. What's Mewtwo's evolution?
Oh, good question.
I know it was the one that I know.
Who wants to take this one?
I got no idea.
It's pretty
got
easy.
nothing either.
It's pretty easy,
It's a
guys.
sidekick type. It's a sidekick type.
Yeah.
It's new.
Sidekick type.
It's
I don't
new.
even know what that means.
What are you guys really
Use a
doing with your lives,
sidekick.
Rheed and Hannah?
I know.
I'll admit I wasn't a Pokemon fan as a kid. I only had one, and that was the one that looked like a horse. So
That's my lick.
Nothing.
My
Yeah.
chick.
that was all I had.
Well, maybe, Lockie, a simpler question is just who's your favourite Pokemon? Rheed, who's your favourite Pokemon, mate?
Pikachu.
He's a
Nice.
lucky type. What's your
Right. That's why I like him.
What's yours,
I
Hannah?
already said mine. Mine's Squirtle. I love Squirtle.
Mine's probably
We all do.
Charizard. Mine's
Charizard, is it?
Charizard.
Yeah.
Because he can fly.
It's nice we've all got different favourites. And whilst we've got Lockie, Rheed or Hannah, any questions for one of our super young Junior Wheelies up-and-comers?
What are you planning on doing next, Lockie? Next
Probably
race,
going
next event?
Probably going to the next camp.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your overall goal? What do you want to? What's the biggest thing you could achieve? What would you love to do the most?
Probably go faster than 20. Wait, in 30s, probably faster than 12, 10 to 10.
Okay. And Lockie, are you just going to continue to play all the different sports? What's your favourite? I'll put you on the spot. What's your favourite?
Probably basketball. Both.
There you go, both. Yeah. Well, Lockie, thank you for being a part of Rolling Conversations. Have you enjoyed it? being our superstar surprise guest. We've loved having you on Rolling Conversations. Our community thinks you're great, and we hope to see you at the next Junior Wheelies camp.
Well,
All right,
it's gonna be in like September, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Or
Yeah, September, October. We'll send you an email about it. All right, mate. We'll see you soon.
See you, buddy.
See you, Logie.
All right. All right, there we go. The hard-hitting questions from Lockie Rheed. And now we've got a message there from Madeline McCracken saying, Rheed.
Yeah, that's my sister. I was just looking at that.
Oh, there we go. So truth comes out. Thank you.
I just missed the Pokemon. Oh, well, I did have Pokemon toys. I will admit I had Pokemon toys, but I don't really remember their names. But I just missed it. And I went into the Yu-Gi-Oh. Remember when Yu-Gi-Oh became a thing?
Yu-Gi-Oh was a big thing.
Yeah, I just missed the Pokemon card.
I'm 100 years old. How would I remember any of it?
Yeah, I just missed in terms of the card collection, I missed the Pokemon phase and went straight. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh by then. So I had toys and stuff, but yeah, I missed the Pokemon card collection phase.
Well,
when I was at school, everyone was trading Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So.
Okay, well, anyone that's watching on that remembers this, please let us know. But I think
I can't tell you any Yu-Gi-Oh people either, though.
Don't ask him any of those questions.
No, nothing like that.
We do have a message there from Phyllis Dodd, though. Hannah, your nephews will be disappointed in you.
My nephews have a bunch of Pikachu toys at the moment. They've been given them from various different people, and my oldest nephew, Hugo, has a jar about this big of various pieces of toys, including about 6 Pikachu toys that he's obsessed with.
Well, I must say, last time we were talking Rolling Conversations, it emerged that so many in the wheelchair sports community are massively into Lego. I don't know what it is about our community, but apparently it's
that. I got that. There's Lego in the background and everything.
Oh, well, take it away, Rheed. What do you got?
I love Lego. Lego is the thing. Yeah.
Do you really have Lego in the background?
Yeah, that's Lego. Wait, can you see it? That's Lego there. Right there.
Can you go and get it? No, we don't believe you.
Yeah, that's Lego. I mean, they're pop vinyls, but that's Lego, yeah. I love Lego.
Okay.
It's
Hannah,
expensive, but it's good.
Do you share this love of Lego, Hannah, or is this a thing?
No, I'm not a Lego person, unfortunately. Pretty much the closest I get is playing like the Lego games on Steven's Switch, and that's about it.
Fair enough. Hey, we've only got a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to ask you, how's your training go at the moment? Hannah, you're in lockdown, I presume, being Sydney-based, but Rheed, you're probably not. But let's just check in on how your training going. Hannah, how are you keeping fit at the moment?
I'm actually not in lockdown because I'm based in Queensland.
Of course you are, yes.
So we were locked down last week for 4 days, but we're out now. So I train out of the University of Sunshine Coast and have since 2017. I moved up here for uni and I just decided to stay afterwards. Steve, my partner, is still at uni, so we just decided to stay here for the moment being. So it's pretty good for me. I get all my training out of there currently. We've got a pretty good setup with court, gym, recovery all in one spot. And then I travel to Brisbane about 3 to 4 times a week for team-based training there. So yeah, it's pretty full on at the moment, obviously. Had a bit of a quieter week coming off of camp last week, but about to step back up into it for the last sort of 2-3 weeks again before more camps. And yeah, it's pretty full on at the moment, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. And Hannah, when do we expect to hear an announcement from Paralympics Australia about the teams for Tokyo?
I'm honestly not sure. We the boys, the Aussie Rollers just finished their camp on Sunday. So I'm hoping it'll be in the next few weeks, but honestly not sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, we've got our fingers crossed for you, of course, and the team, that everything goes well and we pick a super side. We've got a message there from Kylie Presswich, wishing you luck for Tokyo. So we hope you get selected and we hope you're on that plane and a big part of our campaign in Tokyo. And Rheed, for you, where are you at the moment training-wise and how are you keeping fit? Yeah,
we're pretty fortunate that we're outside of Sydney, so we don't have to be in lockdown and stuff like that. But yeah, we're slowly building into the games. starting a couple of hard blocks now, and hopefully after that we'll freshen up as the games get closer. And just really lucky that we can continue doing what we are doing without having to go through some lockdowns. I know some of the athletes are in pretty tough situations, so fortunate where we are. But we're slowly building, and I just do whatever the coach says, really. I trust him with it. He's done it for a long time.
Well, in between your Lego, I suppose that's how you organise your day, do you? You've got the Lego and then you've got the training?
Yeah, that's right. Lego's like a good way to recover, I guess, because you don't have to do anything with it, except my dog eats it all. That's the problem with it. I build it and then put it somewhere, and then she eats it. So I've sort of slowed down on buying it a little bit. But
can't you just get Louise Savage to take the dog for a walk?
Yeah, I know. I wish I could. I might have to hire her as a dog walker.
Hey, and finally, just as we finish off, we've got a lot of our community watching on, and a lot of people in isolation. So just a message from you guys, I suppose, for our community as we finish up Rolling Conversations. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. But just final comments, I suppose, to the community as we all try and get through, those of us who are in lockdown, a second week of lockdown. Hannah?
Look, obviously it's not the greatest time for anyone who is in lockdown. It is definitely hard. I got locked down over Christmas, so I've definitely had the fun of spending 2 weeks at home. Look, it is really hard. It's hard to fight off the boredom. It's hard to fight off the little bit of seeing the same four walls over and over again. But yeah, unfortunately, it's the way of the world at the moment. I would suggest trying to find little bits and pieces throughout the day that keep you entertained, and just little routines as close to normal as possible. Generally was what helped me get through it, like making sure I got out of bed when I would normally get out of bed and things like that, because it is really tempting to stay in your PJs till 2 p.m. and do nothing. But yeah, I found like getting up and doing what I would normally do every morning helped, and just staved off the boredom a little bit. But yeah, just be careful, be safe. There's not really much you can do other than that.
Thanks, Hannah. Rheed?
Yeah, as I said, we're really lucky where we are, but not everyone's that lucky. So if you know someone in lockdown, just check in with them, just see how they're going. And if you are in lockdown, Lego's a great option. It's expensive, but it's a great option.
There you go. I mean, it always comes back to Lego. Guys, thank you very much for being a part of Rolling Conversations. We thank Lockie Rheed, our superstar guest, question asker, and all of our junior wheelies watching on, and indeed everyone watching on tonight on Rolling Conversations. As Rheed said, stay safe, check in on each other, and hopefully we get out of this thing reasonably soon and we get back rolling. All the best for your selection, hopefully, in the team for Tokyo, Hannah. Congratulations on your selection, Rheed, and you're much loved members of our wheelchair sports community, and we really appreciate you being part of tonight's episode.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye now.